Today I'm going to be doing a step-by-step guide on how to get a broken economy. I'm talking 100 million tax income by 2022. For medium-sized countries, of course. If you're smaller, then it might be less. In my case as Nigeria, I got that around 2022. So if you're like half my population, maybe 50 million income. I hope you enjoyed the video. And smash subscribe of course, because this is some top tier secrets I'm sharing here. I'm gonna need you to hand me one of those subscribe buttons, and pressing them too of course. The first thing you wanna do is pick a country. The bigger your starting country is, the bigger your economy will be eventually. I'm going to be picking Nigeria. So the first thing you wanna do is pick ignore safety regulations, and then build 4 electronic factories. Preferably on 4 big cities, so you get some resource income. And then see if you get a chief judge. The bigger your country is, the more important it is to get a chief judge, because anti-corruption spending is really expensive. Then you wanna get economic improvements, 1 political improvement, and then research improvements, in that order. Then you can also justify on smaller nations or neighbors close to you just to earn some money. But it all depends on where you are. And if you have micronations, that's the best position you can be in. But I don't, so I'm not going to. Then, up your government spending, and now we just buy the copper we need for our electronic factories. And the gold, so 9 each. They're done. Now start selling as many electronics as you can. And this is really important early on. You need at least over like 5 million income to make this useful. Okay, someone's selling a lot of electronics too. I'm getting a bit too late, but it's fine. You can sell 3 or less to the smaller nations. Like this. Just keep going for as long as you can. And if you just fight against a small nation, you can attack them. Just get what you can. And keep selling electronics until there's nothing left to sell to. It's really important that you get a good starting trade income. And for that, you need so much trading. You need so many trades. When you can build 4 more electronic factories, build 4 more electronic factories. So I can afford it now, and I'm gonna build 4 more. And now we buy 9 more copper again, like this. I'm not gonna buy from USA. That was pretty lucky he wasn't a player. But I'm not gonna utilize that. And then buy some more gold. You can buy more than the necessary 16, just to get a surplus of goods. Anyways, continue selling electronics when you can. 5 to Ghana should be possible, because someone's buying gold maybe from them? No, they aren't. Okay. Keep selling 2, 2, 2. And now I have a trade income of 7 million. We're gonna keep going until we get above 10 million. That's pretty much the threshold for how much you need to make this strategy viable. And now when you have even more income, build 1 fertilizer factory, build 2 motor factories, build 1 steel factory, and then civilian factories. I can only afford 4 for now, so I'm gonna build 4 now. Also get constitutional monarchy when you can, and now we keep selling more electronics. And if you can, also sell some internally, so you have it maxed out. Selling electronics internally increases your research output and develop CD cost, which is super important. So sell internally when you can, for the max amount. It's going to cost more the higher your population is, but it's fine. Also go back to the tech tree now, and right click on electronic payments, and industrial automation. And then click down the research improvements in priority. And also get advanced supercomputers. And when your factories are done building for the civilian factories, just buy the necessary resources again. So like 5 titanium, tungsten, which will always be a lack of in the world. So just keep buying that whenever you can. And also get some chromium and aluminum for our aircraft parts factories. And let's build one now. 1 aircraft factory, 1 aircraft manufacturer. And get 3 more civilian factories now. And if you can, you want to build even more electronic factories, because there's 1 more policy that can give us more research. And that is the Computer Advancement Act. But for now, just get low party loyalty for more political power gain. Early game, we're just simply going to focus on political power gain. It's the pillar for your entire future strategy, so keep that in mind. Also maybe justify on more neighbors if you want some more income. You don't even have to annex them. Annexing bigger countries will increase your population, which we do not want. That's going to increase the spending costs. So just attack smaller nations for now. Anyways, if you can also sell consumer goods, sell internally so you have the maximum amount. And also see if you can sell to other countries. Usually you can to some mid-sized country like Pakistan, like this, or India. They should accept like 5 or 7. It depends. And especially to countries that have a lot of oil, you can usually sell a high amount of consumer goods. Mainly because people are buying oil from them, so they get a higher income. But no one's doing that right now. Now we have 10 million in trade income. And so the strategy begins. The first thing you want to do is get education spending and research spending to the max. And you also want to get the policy favor the political elites. First, check how much corruption gain you need to increase. In my case, I need minus 0.25. So I'm just gonna get that. I'm gonna get party loyal to minimum. And also make sure when you get industrial automation 2, you halt this research. We only want industrial automation 2 so we can research construction machinery, and then archaeology, so we can get develop city cap up. Also keep making sure you have an excess of resources. We don't want any of our factories going bankrupt. And maybe attack our neighbors if you can. You also want to develop all of your cities, and this is why ignore safety regulations is so important. You don't want to take it away, even though some may recommend you to. You get a minus 20% building cost reduction, which is insane for you. And it's gonna carry this entire run. Anyways, get higher press regulation for now, so we get higher political power gain. You want to stay away from mid-sized country like Ghana. 5 million population, that's quite of an increase. So maybe attack some like with 1 million or micronations. They're the best to attack. The Caribbean can give you like 1 billion money in treasury for free. So if you're close to it, then I recommend attacking this place. Also sell maybe the excess 300 consumer goods factories to yourself, if you cannot sell it to anyone. And in terms of doctrines, you're free to go whatever you want. But if you want extra stability and some more exhaustion decrease gain, then go stability. It's always nice for if you're not expanding aggressively. And now we can finally get max press regulation. There we go. Shake back here. We're soon getting industrial automation, so we're gonna take that away soon. I think our cities have now developed. They finished constructing. Yeah, now they finished constructing. Depending on how many smaller countries you invade that's your neighbors, you can develop more. Let's see, in my case, can I afford developing once more? I can afford it, so develop again if you can. You should have it easier than me. I was talking too much and not invading smaller countries that's my neighbors. So yeah, I'm actually going to be justifying in the Caribbean. I'm gonna be moving there. So that's also why you can have higher military spending if you want to. Just use your basic home guards and maybe spawn a few more infantry just in case. So you have like 200,000 before you go to the Caribbean. Let's get religious emphasis. Just for that war exhaustion decrease. That's always nice. State atheism does increase your tax income. But depending what you want to do later, I recommend state religion. Let's also check if we get a political reformer, you want to get that one. And if you see a head of a government, also get that one. They increase your political power gain. Which I've said over and over again is super important. Once your second wave of developed cities have ran by, you can go maximum taxes, you can get max security spending, max healthcare spending. And now you can also get war bonds. And let's also get working hours while we're at it, which gives us 13 million for now. Also, did my chief judge really just go corrupt? Okay, that might happen. I am really unlucky. I don't know why that happened. So I'm gonna have to remove that, but luckily we have another chief judge here, so it's fine for me. That's why it's so important. It's really expensive if you don't have a chief judge. The more micronations you kill beside you, the more you can develop. It's even better if you can actually form two. In my case, I haven't really focused on doing that, because most other nations that you're gonna be playing doesn't have such a quick formable. If you have war bonds, don't end wars, then you're gonna lose your bonuses, so keep that on at all times. And keep justifying on the nations in the Caribbean, just for more money. I'm sure you're gonna get a single Backdom's arms contract if you can. Accept these. Backdom's arms contract and corporate dealing. They are so good and you will surely get at least one during your time here. So accept it and then just use the money to develop even more. If you get an infrastructure minister, pick that. If you get a finance minister, pick that. Even the industry ministers also works. You just pick everything that decreases your building cost. And once again, keep justifying on the nations in the Caribbean. You can also get the Advanced Research Bureau when you want to, but if you do that, you might also have to get some political science too. So up that in priority, so it's underneath industrial automation. Because research isn't really that important for this strategy. You just mainly wanted first 2 of these to be green, that's all. And maybe also the industrial automation, but that's for the future. And I'm sure you will have arrived in the Caribbean earlier than me, and just use that time to get some extra money. And why am I so lucky today? It's to say it's another chief judge that goes corrupt. Okay, yeah. Okay, now we get absolute monarchy. Let's remove industrial automation now that we have level 4. And research construction machinery, and get that up in the priority queue. You can also research corruption gain, anti-corruption measures if you don't get a chief judge like me, just to reduce that. Let's also get unlimited working hours, which gives us a income of 40 million at the moment. There's a way to do this faster, but for what I'm doing, I'm more focusing on the later game. Let's see if I have gotten a replacement for my... No. Oh, I did get a replacement. Nice. And I also got a finance minister, which I'm gonna pick. That increases our tax income and develops city costs. This one is really important. That's the one that you mainly want to get. Soon we can pick other policies. Begin with improve infrastructure. That reduces our building cost. Also, you can pretty much at this point also get the other policy for research, which is Computer Advancement Act. It's pretty cheap. Just pick it when you can. Same with the Aircraft Subsidization Act. It's also pretty cheap and improves our tax income. And also, yeah, again, keep developing. Just keep developing over and over again. At this point, it's not really worth it justifying on smaller nations, because you're earning just more than that now. But you can still justify if you want to. And pick a corporate minister if you can. Here I have one. I like you. I did not get a head of government, so that's pretty unlucky. But as long as you get some of these leaves I have right now, it's fine. And now for policies. You wanna get Emergency War Fund, and you also wanna get the Neutrality Act, which will basically complete this entire setup. You can also wait if you want to gain more political power, so you can also get the Public Service Act that improves our factory output, but that's not completely necessary. Just get the Neutrality Act, like that. And thus, the setup is pretty much complete, at least for the laws. And now you have 100 million income. Just wait for construction machinery to get to level 3, and then you can also get higher developed city caps, so you can develop above city tier 8. And currently, since I began as Nigeria, I don't really have that high of a development. That's a super simple version of this setup. You can also improve infrastructure at this point maybe. This one got us to number 3, with basically no effort at all, and a population of barely 50 million. And also remember to always be at war for the war bonds to take effect. And since we have a high war exhaustion decrease thanks to religious emphasis and static lines, you can also from time to time switch to maximum war bonds. That increases our economy by quite a bit. Yeah, look at that. And you can just have it on for a while, just to earn some extra income, and then take it away when you feel like it. And you can even take it away now, when you have half a war exhaustion, even more. And it barely affected our income, or normal income, and instead gave us an extra 180 million. It's pretty overpowered. Yeah, and then there's also the firearm regulation. I did not pick this one because you can decide which one you want to pick if you want more stability or more tax income. The left one is, if you're prioritizing tax income, yeah, then go for the left one. You can research stability in the stability tree, in the research tree. So political, and then researching this. There's also a lot of other policies to quicken this process up, but like I mentioned before, it depends on your country size and if you can afford it. If you're a bit smaller than Nigeria, then you can take pretty much every single one of these policies. Or if you have access to a lot of resources, then things like the Transport Act is pretty easy. Just build 3 motor parts factories and that's enough. That's all you need to build really. So you need like 6 tungsten, which I do not have at the moment. So that means I can get the Transport Act, increases our tax income even more. If you don't care about your political power gain, you can also take that away. So take away your favorite political elites and get the Sinaloa Protocol. And that will improve your tax income by a further 40%. but you can also just pick underground labs too. Having building cost reduction anymore is not completely necessary, because you just have too much money. So you can also take away ignore safety regulations, and instead get the Public Service Act. That's a better replacement. Easy, right? And get things like maybe the Education Minister, and you can snowball from here. And then we get up our archaeology, what did I say archaeology before? Or architecture, get it up to priority 2 or 3. You want to keep tax income on the highest, obviously, so we increase our tax income. But right now, you pretty much have as much money you will ever need. I don't think you need even more money. And now since I have 0 war exhaustion again, I can go for another round of maximum war bonds, which will earn me another 90 million. If you research anti-corruption measures, you can even get back the favorite political elite again. You know, you're free to do whatever now. That's basically the entire guide. Just make sure you have archaeology on so you can develop even more. Not that you need more money. That's just a basic look of the strategy, without maximizing the acts here, which is much easier for smaller countries. And also, of course, selling internally. Some of these modifiers are super good that you definitely want to get, like selling steel internally. I could have actually done this one. I just forgot about selling steel internally because I was thinking about, you know, the size of your country and whatever you are. But yeah, you can pretty much do this for every country. It only requires maybe like 3 steel factories, and that just requires 12 iron. Another good one is gold. There's usually a lot of gold in the world, and most people don't care about it. And diamond is probably the one that you want to sell internally to. Yeah, but this one entirely depends on the size of your population. If you're too big, you can't really buy enough diamonds in the world. The Mass Construction Act is another policy you could have picked while you were developing. And that only requires maybe 4 more steel factories. Honestly, anything that requires steel, just get those policies and just build more steel factories. Iron is abundant in the game. Same with titanium. So you're fine just picking whatever of those policies you want to. From what I'm seeing right now, I can build 9 factories and 10 factories. And just to finish this off, I'm gonna get maximum war bonds and see where we end up in the rankings. Number 2 still, I guess. I'll take it for my small population. I've done this before and I've gotten over 100 million income without an economic boom, as Germany for example, before the year 2022, so in 2021. I think I showed it in my last video, but that was in the year 2022. I had to get the recording up first. I haven't tested this myself, but I think you can get 100 million income in the first half of 2021, and that is if you pick encourage development and don't go to any wars. You're just gonna sit there and pray you get an economic boom. This thing increases your chances of getting an economic boom. If you want to be as efficient as possible, pick this one, and you might get the chance to get an economic boom in the first year, and if you do that, you will get minus 40% developed city cost, tax income, any of the good modifiers, and you will just hasten the process by so much. So yeah, that's how you get a super strong economy early game.